Hello, it's Xavier back with Reformed Fitness. Today we're going to be talking about the fat burning zone and shedding some light on the myth around the fat burning zone. It's been a hot topic in the exercise industry probably for the last few years, and I look forward to talking to you guys more about the fat burning zone and why it's very misleading. Alright, to jump right in, I'm sure most of you, especially if you're watching this video, you have some goals around losing weight, or probably more specifically losing fat, right? We want to maintain our muscle mass, lose our fat mass, and ultimately lose weight, but really try to improve our body composition like we've talked about in the past. But to jump right into the fat burning zone myth and kind of where it comes from, it's good to have like a baseline understanding of just the energy systems that are used during exercise. So it's widely known that when you're doing any type of exercise, especially a cardiovascular exercise, the lower level of intensity, and right, intensity just means how hard you're working during your workout. The lower level of intensity, the higher percent of the calories that are being burned are going to be coming from fat calories. Okay, and then the higher level of intensity that you're working at, the harder you're working out in your workout, and then the higher percentage of calories that are going to be burned from carbohydrates. So just if you stop there and you just only knew that, then you would say, okay, well, maybe there's something to this fat burning zone theory. But it's important to dive even a little bit deeper into what that actually means and what that looks like in a real world setting. So that's what I want to do to really illustrate why the fat burning zone is so misleading. So an example of this is if a 160-pound male went on a walk. He's walking at a 3.5 mile an hour pace for 30 minutes. During that walk, during that 30-minute walk, that male is going to burn about 240 calories total, right? And when we're walking at that level of intensity, about 40% of those calories are going to be coming from fat, okay? So a pretty high percentage, 60% from carbohydrates, okay? So he's walking for 30 minutes, and he's going to burn about 96 calories from fat, 40% of that total of 240 calories burned. Now, same guy decides to exercise the next day for again 30 minutes, and instead of walking at 3.5 miles an hour for that 30 minutes, he decides today he's going to run, go a little bit higher in the intensity, right? A little bit higher heart rate, of closer to his maximum heart rate, close to 70 to 80% of his maximum heart rate. So it's going to be a 6.5 mile an hour pace for that same 30 minutes that he exercised the previous day. Now this time when he goes for a run, because the intensity is higher, he's going to burn more calories. So at that 6.5 mile an hour pace, he now doesn't burn 240 calories during that 30 minutes. He's going to burn a total of 450 calories during that same 30 minutes, so a much higher amount of calories. But as I talked about previously, because the intensity is higher, a higher percent of those total calories burned are going to come from carbohydrates. So this time, 25% of those calories are going to come from fat. So of that 450 calories, 25% of that is 112 calories that he is burning from fat. Now obviously it doesn't take a math genius to know that 112 calories is going to be more calories from fat than the lower intensity that was 96 calories from fat, even though the lower intensity had a higher percentage because the sheer amount of calories total burned was so much higher at the higher level of intensity. The total amount of calories burned that were from fat stores is actually much higher than the lower intensity. Now, again, if we just stopped there and just said that, the fat burning zone myth is kind of already debunked, right? Like, we already can tell that in the same amount of time, working out at that higher level of intensity is going to be more beneficial. But let's take this even a little step further and just say that when it comes to losing fat on your body, the type of calorie you burn does not matter. So if you're burning calories from fat or burning calories from carbohydrates, that doesn't matter, okay? It's just the total amount of calories burned that's gonna affect how much weight you're gonna lose. And so 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories, okay? So anytime you consume 3,500 less calories in a given time period than you're eating, then you're gonna burn 1 pound of fat, regardless if it's fat, carbohydrates, protein, does not matter. 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat, so if you're in a deficit of 3,500 calories in 1 week, that would be a 500 calorie deficit per day, then you're gonna burn 1 pound of fat. So the type of calorie that you're burning, especially during your exercise, does not affect your fat loss. So again, the fat burning zone theory still doesn't hold up in that case. And as we saw, at that higher level of intensity, you're burning a lot more calories. In that same 30 minutes, you burned 210 more calories total than at that lower level of intensity. So when it comes to improving cardiovascular fitness, when it comes to improving muscular endurance, muscular strength, we know that higher level of intensity is going to be so much more beneficial, both for the cardiovascular health benefit, but also the total amount of calories you're burning, which ultimately will lead to your fat loss. So it's always better to make your workouts harder, make your workouts more intense. You want to ramp up that slowly, but the higher level of intensity that you have during your workouts, the better results that you're going to get from that. If you learned anything from this, or if you think someone else can learn something from this, please go ahead and share it, like it, and subscribe to the channel for more information. I look forward to talking to you again soon.